It's hard to believe, but 5 years ago this month, a game named Project Eve would be announced, and it was a game that immediately resonated with me. That's because it took so much from one of my favorite games of all time, Nier Automata. But now Stellar Blade is out, and it's a game that I already cannot stop thinking about. I seriously am loving this game so far, and Shift Up has not disappointed. And today, we have even more news about Stellar Blade, some updates that the game is receiving, and why despite it all, Stellar Blade is looking to be one of the best games of the year. So please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Guys, we are so close to 97k, as we are currently on the journey to break 100k by the end of the year. So if you love Stellar Blade, this is the place to be, as this channel brings you all news, all updates on the game. And with that being said, Stellar Blade has officially released, and it is currently sitting at an 82 on Metacritic. For the most part, critics have loved this game, praising the game's action combat as well as its music. However, where most of the criticism lies is within the character writing itself, the story being a bit too safe and sticking way too close to its source material, that being Nier Automata, and that if you go in looking for that type of narrative experience, you might be disappointed. This never bothered me personally, as originally when I first saw the game, I actually thought it would be even closer to Automata than it is now, particularly in the gameplay department. However, while the game doesn't do anything exactly new, its blend of Soulsborne and hack and slash is unique in itself. No game quite meshes the two together quite like this one does. In fact, if you look at the reviews that lean negative on Metacritic, almost all of the excerpts specifically mention that the story is why it leans negative for them. I suppose my perspective on it is that I don't think an action game necessarily needs to have an excellent story. In fact, I'd say a good number of action games don't really have award-winning stories. However, if that is a set expectation for you, it might be a good idea to recalibrate. After all, the worst that can happen if you do is that the story ends up surprising you. Next, Stellar Blade accidentally stumbled into some controversy. Throughout the game, you'll oftentimes find this graffiti that says hard, and there's no real profound meaning to the graffiti itself. However, with great misfortune, there was an instance where the hard graffiti was placed next to the R shop. And for those familiar with American slang, know why this is immediately unfortunate. However, there's not a single doubt in my mind that this was completely unintentional. The developers in South Korea have no idea what that term means. In fact, a lot of people in other English-speaking territories don't actually know. In fact, as a Black American, I had a few people from other countries reach out to me and ask what that meant, and if it was actually offensive. But honestly, this was done on accident. It's like no different than someone trying to learn a different language and then accidentally saying a swear word while trying to say something unrelated. All of which is to say is that there's no real malicious intent here. That being said, Sony and Shift Up have still decided to patch this out, with them saying, quote, "The placement of the two graphics near each other in Stellar Blade resulted in an unintentional, objectionable phrase. Shift Up had no intention of creating offensive artwork and will be replacing the graffiti for the day one patch. In the patch, the word hard has been replaced with the word crime now." It's actually even kind of silly that this became discourse in itself, because no one was offended, and it also got patched because they didn't want to say something unintentional. I don't think there's anything really to be upset about with the way this played out. However, there's always going to be people that are upset about something. Now, one of the biggest criticisms of Stellar Blade when this game was coming out was the input lag. Kim has explained why the input lag was there in the first place, and why they adjusted it for the day one patch. And what some may find shocking is that the input delay was entirely deliberate, with Kim saying, quote, "In Stellar Blade, there is about a half-second lag between the moment you press the button and the moment the skill is visible on screen. It's a time lag that can't be reduced any further. We made it so that the character's movement does not get triggered immediately upon button press, as we felt this would not fit the game's style of animation. Thus, we made it so that the skill itself is activated the moment moment you press the button, but the animation of the movement follows afterwards. Kim said that they would consider reducing it if there was enough feedback for it, and that feedback has come, with the official Twitter page saying, the day 1 patch fixed input time for basic attacks, as well as the timing of blocking and parrying to be more responsive. Also, the chromatic aberration and the grain noise effects can now be toggled on and off. So for those of you that had a big problem during the demo where you felt like the input delay was too large, make sure that you have the day 1 patch downloaded and installed, and this will make the input lag feel much better to you. The day 1 patch is definitely going to be something you want to install, as it comes with a ton of new things, the most notable being New Game Plus. With New Game Plus, you can acquire new costumes and accessories for Eve, as well as Adam, Lily, and the drone. Furthermore, if you reopen chests that you previously got your costumes, or revisit the shops that sell them, you can find some color palette swaps of the original costumes. New Game Plus will also add 34 new outfits for Eve to earn in New Game Plus, including 5 accessories, 2 cosmetics each for Adam, Lily, and the drone. There's also the crew style outfits, which will only be available in the New Game Plus chests. Eve's weapons and gear will also get an expansion. You'll be able to carry all of your current upgrades and abilities into New Game Plus, and strengthen Eve even further. New Game Plus will also come with enhanced beta skills, in the form of what they are calling infinite skills. This in total makes for 4 new beta skill moves, 8 new skills to enhance beta/burst skills, and 5 new drone skills. On top of this, Eve's gear and Exospine will also receive new enhancements, with the official Twitter page saying, high-tier gear that can be obtained during New Game Plus play, which can make Eve overwhelmingly faster, with the attached clip showing Eve moving tremendously faster than she would in the first playthrough. New Game Plus here sounds absolutely phenomenal. The game is much more challenging on the second playthrough with its hard mode, and completely changed the game up by doing things such as letting Eve attack tremendously faster. This is a small but profoundly different change that is going to make New Game Plus feel like its own game. The PS blog points out that you can do a lot more than this though. Quote, why not boost your attack speed to corner your enemies with attacks, or convert the damage you take into beta energy and send it back at them? You can enhance your shield penetration to ignore enemy shields. This game is allowing you to express yourself not only through the combat, but also through your gear and the builds that you have. For those of you who are wondering how long it is going to take to finish Stellar Blade, according to GameSpot, it has taken them around 31 hours to complete their review playthrough. That of course included tackling several side quests. However, they say that those who focus on the main story of Stellar Blade will finish it in roughly 20 hours, with the game's hard mode only unlocking after you've completed it, something that for more skilled players they may find unfortunate. I'm personally excited to dive more into Stellar Blade soon. This game is absolutely phenomenal. Thus far, it is a game that I cannot recommend enough if you love action games. As Kim has mentioned, it's entirely possible for Stellar Blade to get a sequel if this game does really well. So I want every single one of you to go out there and buy this game. Support this studio that normally makes gacha games transitioning into making single player games. And their gacha game Nikkei will also be getting a collaboration with Stellar Blade soon enough, with Kim being asked on the matter and him responding, absolutely. At the right timing, we'll be presenting a very high quality crossover collaboration between the two, so it's something you can definitely look forward to. And with that, I'd love to hear your comments below on if you are enjoying Stellar Blade.